Brazil. Sergio Moro, the corrupt judge in Lava Jato case who helped engineer the politically motivated imprisonment of Lula da Silva. Very important to keep reminding everybody. Lula led in all the polls. Lula would have beat Bolsonaro. So could you imagine a year in if you had a president, Lula da Silva, in Brazil instead of Jair Bolsonaro with regards to the environmental crisis in the Amazon, with regards to Venezuela, with regards to pensions, labor, and then much more broadly having a powerful, unparalleled political communicator fighting against resurgent right-wing authoritarianism. So this broader slow-motion coup that began with the illegitimate impeachment of Dilma, that was fulfilled in this grotesque farce where you put this hugely successful, iconic president in jail on charges that there's no evidence for other than plea bargain testimony that we've seen as part of these Lava Jato leaks, that the literal one person who gave the plea bargain testimony changed his testimony after getting a plea deal. So the whole process is utterly corrupt. It's exactly what Brazil Wire's always said. It's what I've said, and it's certainly what Lula, the Workers' Party, and his attorneys have said. And what's important here, though, with Sergio Moro, I mean, one, it's still important. Glenn Greenwald is getting death threats regularly. Sergio Moro is in charge of the equivalent of the Brazilian FBI, and they are targeting Glenn Greenwald in The Intercept right now. So we need to, again, put all bullshit aside and have 100% solidarity with Glenn Greenwald in The Intercept. This is not a time for, pedantry and silliness. We have disagreements and debates, but this is somebody who now, for the second time in their career, frankly, has broken a hugely important story, arguably the most globally significant story at the moment right now, him, his husband, and his children are under threat. Then there's also the fact that this whole Lava Jato thing was covered in a completely supportive and credulous way by the New York Times, by the Washington Post, by the Guardian, by Jimmy Dore, by all of these people, because it fit this simplistic nonsense anti-corruption narrative, which has been used by far-right forces from Donald Trump to Narendra Modi and to Jair Bolsonaro. So Sergio Moro has taken a temporary leave, and he's actually coming back to the United States for the second time this month, which I find very strange. And I would definitely say that if you look at the broader Brazilian story, that even though the Workers' Party government under Lula and Dilma, even though they did so much and primarily focused their aims on goals that they achieved, like Lula's goal of eliminating hunger, that even though, but in many ways they followed a moderate course, I think there's no doubt that the fact that they had publicly run state oil company, which they used to reinvest in social programs, and they wouldn't allow to be privatized, is a major reason that even as conciliatory as they were, they still got on the bad side of the United States' reassertion of its interest, of its corporate interest in Latin America. And that's the broader reversal of the pink tide that we see across the region. But this myth of Sergio Moro was an essential part of the U.S. policy against the Workers' Party, the reassertion of oligarchy in Brazil, the descent of Brazil into outright neo-fascism under Bolsonaro, and all of the media that slimed and smeared Lula and the Workers' Party and discounted all of the underprivileged people of Brazil because they wanted to get back into a sort of unmitigated corporate agenda there. The false reputation of Lava Jato was a key part of it. And at this incredibly powerful hearing that happened several days ago, Glauber Braga, who is a member of the PASAL, the People's Socialism and Liberty Party, he explained to Sergio Moro exactly who he was. And this almost led, I think, actually to a fist fight. But this is powerful from Brazil.
Da história, o senhor não pode se esconder. E o senhor vai estar, sim, nos livros de história. Vai estar nos livros de história como um juiz que se corrompeu, como um juiz ladrão. É isso que vai estar nos livros de história. a população brasileira não vai aceitar como fato consumado um juiz ladrão e corrompido que ganhou uma recompensa para fazer com que a democracia brasileira fosse atingida. É o que o senhor é, um juiz que se corrompeu e, apesar dos gritos, um juiz ladrão.
That's incredible. That clip has gone around Brazil. It should go viral everywhere again. All solidarity with Glenn Greenwald and The Intercept in Brazil. They're under serious threat right now. You can watch Glenn Greenwald's conversation on Democracy Now! And I'll also just add, you know, again, he said he took his reward. Sergio Moro was appointed justice minister under Bolsonaro after politically imprisoning the guy who would have beat Bolsonaro and whose mandate was to do very similar things to all sources of resistance inside Brazilian society.